Hello, my audiophile friends. I want to share with you some excerpts of something that happened in March of 2021, just a couple of days after we moved to our new house in Nyack, New York. I decided to endure a marathon of 24 hours listening to reggaeton, the most despised music in the world. And I did it also listening on a Bose speaker. So a lot happened, if you can imagine. A lot have happened. But I did have some great guests. And in this occasion, I think you recognize most of the guests, or all of them. And I hope you enjoy it.
¿No sabe quién es Sean? ¡Sean!
Oh, yo,
Zero
what up, man?
Fidelity! Oh!
Hola, amigos. How's it going?
Hola, Sean. How's your Spanish?
Horrible. If I were younger, I'd be the no sabo kid.
Okay. I forgot to bring my hat, but that's good because you also forgot to bring your hat.
Yeah, it's somewhere off to the side.
I'm not used to seeing you like this.
No, nobody is.
Well, this is a special appearance. Nobody will know about it because, you know, there's not going to be a record of this after it's done.
Really? It's going to be like the normal live streams I do. Once it's gone, huh?
That's right. Yes.
It's beautiful in a way. It's like a conversation that you have with the person in real life. You don't record everything. You have it, you share this moment, and then you move on.
And anything that was said that was controversial would just remain like a memory.
Don't do what I do. I say way too much.
Too late for that. I already gave some reviews as a consumer.
There we go.
Not as a reviewer. Not as a reviewer, but as a consumer. Yeah. So Sean, what time is it where you are?
It is 7:48 p.m.
Where are you?
I'm on East Coast, Virginia.
Why did I think you were like in LA or something like that?
I don't know. I am from that area though.
Because you're so cool. Maybe that's why.
Nah.
Well, those of us who know your channel and are big fans of your channel, you have a very fast growing channel. How many subscribers do you have now?
I wouldn't say fast, but I don't even know anymore. Honestly, haven't looked in forever.
Yeah, you're one of those YouTubers that don't really give a shit. You just like, you do it because you're good at it, but you're like, you know what? I'm not in it for the money, and if you don't agree with me, that's fine. You march to the beat of your own drum.
Yeah, yeah, and I always wanted to keep it that way, like in the purest sense of what YouTube used to be about, like 15 years ago or so. Like you have an interest, you post content, and then you just have fun with it as much as you can. For me, it's just a hobby that went a little too far. Now I just have a house full of hi-fi and boxes and stuff. But
isn't that always the case?
Yeah.
But you don't really portray it like that in your show. It almost looks like you're in your bedroom when you're doing reviews. Like sometimes
it's in a spare room that, you know, funnily enough, today I was supposed to have somebody over to help me to get it restored so I can actually make somewhat better looking videos. They never showed up, man. I got ghosted.
Thanks, Agakure, for the super chat.
Hey, look at that.
Oh, it's so nice when people, you know, it's hard to get super chats these days, but That's fantastic. Francisco, thank you so much for the super chats. And Hagakure, does he have a question? He is of all the guests at the Reggaeton Bose Marathon. Well, I'm sure that now, I think I've seen some old videos of you as you were part of some kind of a business where you were advertising products. So you've been in the business for a long time. Have you ever been like in a position to sell Bose products or have you reviewed Bose stuff before?
I've technically, I guess you could say I've sold their stuff because a long time ago, like a long time ago, when I was a kid, I worked at Circuit City, which was a now defunct retailer, and they sold Bose among many products. So technically I did, but yeah, I mean, I've never been really a hi-fi salesman per se, but I've definitely worked alongside some hi-fi companies in the past and got a lot of experience in the hi-fi industry through, you know, getting to know people on the manufacturing side, on the retail side, on distribution and all that. So it was fun to see how it works and how much work goes into bringing a product to market and how little money there is in it. That, I understand that people look at a product, they look at the price, they're generally aware of margins, but it's like after you chip away all the expenses, it's like, bro, you're left with almost nothing. So it really is, it's the common advice for most people when they get into high-end audio is like, if you want to make $1 million, start with 2 million. And only do it if you're really passionate about it, because otherwise, dude, it's going to be quite an arduous journey.
And that's where the brilliance of Bose comes in. I mean, they basically make a lot out of nothing. I don't mean out of nothing, but mostly based on the intellectual property of Dr. Amar Bose.
Yeah, and they hit the market. Some of it's timing, right? And a lot of that you can't control. So, I mean, they timed the market perfectly when people were still buying that kind of a product in droves. Whether it's for stereo and then home theater, they were the first to really commercialize lifestyle products with little Acoustimass speakers. And let's face it, for what they were able to achieve from those little tiny speakers with a little bass module, whatever they called it, it wasn't horrible. Like, honest to God, it wasn't bad for its time. Expensive, yeah, and you could get better if you knew what you were doing, yeah. But they did a pretty good job, and then they were smart. They diversified, kept money going in via contracts with car manufacturers. Oh yeah, dude, it was. I actually have nothing but respect for Bose, and to turn a profitable company, to make products, I guess you could say, with, let's call it what it is, fairly cheap parts.
Yeah,
margins high, and then make it sound at least halfway decent. I mean, kudos to them, dude.
Did you ever own, like, in your youth, Bose products? Or you did?
Oh, yes, sir. 301s, 201s, 601s, or whatever they were called. They even had the latter series, the 701 towers. I really wanted a pair of 901s, but never bought them. Little Acoustimass speakers, quite a few.
Hagakure, who's one of our biggest fans, says he used to work at Circuit City as well.
The money isn't all the cables. He's not wrong. So this is not secret sauce by any means. So Circuit City, when you work there, they used to really press what's called attachments. And attachments would basically be like things like power cables and power conditioners and all that. And the margins at the time for Monster Cable in particular, like that was the big push. That was like a 70% profit margin. So, I mean, they were really big on it. But I will say Monster Cable, there was one thing that I love so much about Monster Cable, which was the build quality was really nice in the sense that I never ran into an issue with connectors, or any kind of horrible terminations going on at the connectors. Even as a custom installer, which I tried for a little bit, sucked at it, by the way, it's horrible. Nonetheless, I mean, we went through a lot of cables, and dude, their stuff just never broke. So it wasn't poorly made, but yeah, the margins, the markup was like insane. And it has to be in order to, at their height, to buy like a stadium and all this other stuff. So I have nothing but respect and great history with the Monster Cables too. So I know that what Hagakure says, the money is in the cables. It's a quote from our Narco series that I was trying to get you in it, but then we decided to close the season. Maybe on the next season after Netflix, after we sign with Netflix. Exactly.
Anyway, there's a character there actually played by my brother, really funny, and he says that el billete está en lo cable. The money is in the cables. And we there's quite a few YouTubers that are in this series, and I don't know why I do this stuff.
It's kind of interesting, just kind of a fun side fact. The margin on cables is no longer what it used to be with a lot of companies. It's now actually down to around 50 points, which is very much in line with speakers. That market got hollowed out quite a bit. And actually, I'm not sad about it because a lot of it, even though there's legitimacy behind the cost of building some cables and materials and connector quality and all that, and so much of it is just made just for the sake of somebody being willing to spend a hell of a lot of money. So I'm not exactly crying about it.
Do you don't have to commit to this now? Although yeah, it's never going to be repeated. But do you believe in cables? Is there a particular cable that you think makes a difference, whether it's for the phono cartridge or for the power cable? Is there one cable that you would be willing to spend, let's say, $1,000 for it or something like that?
That's a great question. So the short answer is yes, but it depends. So I've done countless blind A/B tests between cables, all different types of metallurgies that you can think of, right? Copper, silver, copper, gold, and all these different fusions, all these different types of connectors, solder, no solder, this type of solder, that type of solder. And there have been times where the differences are so substantial that you would have to have had your ears clubbed like a seal in order to not experience the difference, right? I mean, it was so obvious. It's like, dude, like, you don't need to listen that hard. Whether it was due to a flaw or not is something I never explored. But there were also plenty of times to where, like, I know that I would not be able to tell a difference between, say, this cheap, whatever, $10 cable and some $50, $60, $100 cable. So it really seemed to have been very system dependent in my experience. I don't have a favorite, to be entirely honest with you. I really don't. I've been using the MIT CVT2s, but the big reason why is because I paid nothing for them. They offer consistent performance. I can use them as a reliable connection type for my reviews, and they have the little screws where you can swap between banana and spade, and quite frankly, there's a practicality to that.
Yes.
Would I pay $1,000 for what the speaker cables cost? Probably not. But here's a dirty little secret, guys. Nobody pays MSRP for those cables. Nobody. You go to a dealer, bro, they're going to discount them, man. They have so much margin built in. They'll be more than happy to usually give you a little discount, despite what the MAP policy is behind the scenes. Companies only really give a crap if things are selling. And when it comes to cables, that's where dealers have a lot more, I guess you could say, freedom to give you a hookup, as it were. But partly why the margins on some products are so big is because companies know retailers, when it comes to certain product types, they're not selling them at MAP. They're not. I mean, we can all just kind of, over dinner pretend and lie to each other that we do, but that's not what really happens most of the time.
Tell me what you know about reggaeton.
Reggaeton. Let's see. Isn't it a fusion between kind of like pop, hip hop, like Americana stuff, and Jamaican, if I remember correctly, is where it originated from. I remember. I think right now the only guy I'm really familiar with, the only artist, is Daddy Yankee.
Well, he was supposed to be the first hit on the reggaeton genre with his song La Gasolina. You know that song, Gasolina?
If I heard it, maybe, but no, probably.
Yeah, it's very popular. I think it's 2004. I don't know, 2004, something like that. There was Daddy Yankee and also Tego Calderon, who's actually been in some movies.
Oh, really?
He was in one of those Fast and Furious movies, or a couple of
Oh,
those.
really?
Yeah.
Dang.
And Tego Calderon actually is from my school, for my music school in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Escuela Libre de Música. And he's much younger than me, but I think he knows my sister, who also went to school there.
Wait, are you from Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
I spent a little bit of time there on the eastern side of the island. Do you remember Roosevelt Woods, or ever heard of Roosevelt?
Ceiba.
Yeah. So my dad, this is back when the base was still there. I was really, really young. But nonetheless, I traveled with him, and he had some business to do. And I remember going to El Yunque. Man, this is where I discovered that they call it a rainforest for a reason, man. I went there, everybody's in their swimsuits and whatnot. I'm like, what the hell? What are these people doing, dude? It's bright, it's sunshiny, like there's nothing. And then suddenly, like 10 minutes later, just boosh. I'm like, dang. And this is back when blue jean shorts were in style. So getting those wet, that's not fun.
Now, it's funny you talk about your dad, but isn't it true, from watching your channel, I know that your mom was a singer, or you have a musical family, don't you?
So my mother, to keep this short and sweet, so she used to be a songwriter. And it's not a career she chose. It's kind of something that found her, and it never really turned into a career, to be honest. It's something that my mom did while at the same time being an ombudsman for various things that my dad was stationed to, like an aircraft carrier or a certain group, while at the same time running PTA, for my school, while at the same time running the neighborhood homeowners association in Cramwash. So she was just a crazy busy woman. But in the midst of all of that, we used to have people come over to my house, like Sony Records would come over and they would bring their keyboards, and we'd have artists coming over like Tina Turner and Luther Vandross, like people from that generation, right? Barbara Streisand and stuff like that. And our home is unassuming, dude. It's like built in the 80s. It's a single family home. Like, it doesn't look like the kind of place you would see these people. And I remember they would come in and they'd play music with my mom and they'd do some stuff. And I would be so angry because I was a little kid. I was really protective of my mom. So I would just circle them like a shark, getting really angry because they were taking up her time. And I knew that they were famous. Like Barbara, I knew who she was, but I didn't care. Get out. Get out, man. You've been here for over an hour. It's time for you to leave.
Hey, Sean, we have a very special guest here. Mr. Jules Coleman, another person from the audio world. Hello, Jules.
Hello, people. How are you?
Good.
Hello. Good. Happy to join in.
Thank you, Jules.
In action, tell me, how's the pain going through the Bose speaker? The Bose headphones.
Right now I have my headphones, so I don't really get to hear it much, which is kind of the point of having people over. So I can. But I was telling Sean that I was surprised that the tone is a little bit. Is it too loud? Maybe. I can turn it down.
I can hear you just fine.
The tone of the speaker is actually, it has a little bit of boost on the upper bass and the lower mid range. So it has a little bit of a warm, I don't want to say it's warm, but the heights are not as exaggerated, even though they sound very artificial. And there's no real bass, but because it's boomy, it gives you a nice feel. It's, some mid-range with some bass. It sounds fuller than what it actually is.
Yeah.
And then it probably has a driver that's facing down, so it sounds omnidirectional. And it has a little handle, which is very
good if you take it to the beach and bury it. So it's a rounded sound. So it's rounded and fuller. So it has the standard practice in the upper bass, lower mid range to make it sound tubby has the impact of taking away the edge of the leading edge of the high end.
Right.
So it's great for automobiles, but it's not music. But
I got a little visitor here.
As long as you're
my producer. She's my producer.
Oh, fantastic.
Hey, this is Juliet, my daughter Juliet.
Hello, Juliet. How are you?
My coffee.
Oh, pretty fantastic. How many hours to go on the 24 hours?
Oh, don't even ask. It's only been 2 hours.
Oh, my God.
Thank you, Juliet.
Right.
I'll have to come back again later.
I hope you. Did you ever hear the Bose 901s, for example?
Oh, yeah, I've heard them all. The 501s, the 901s. I may look like a 15 or 20-year-old, but I'm actually been around a lot longer.
I wanted to ask Sean, our guest from Zero Fidelity, also what he thought about this.
About the subject of reviewing in general, or are you talking about the 901s?
Both.
Well, the 901s are an inherently flawed product, but I tell you what, they can be a lot of fun. And I think there's something to be said for just being able to put the critical brain aside and to be able to just sit down and listen to somebody play guitar, because as distorted as it is, let's call it what it is, a big sense of scale. And sometimes it just appeals to the primitive part of our brains if we allow ourselves that opportunity.
But what always bothered me is that it sounded like this because it had no tweeters, so there was no highs. It had no highs.
Yes.
It sounded like this.
Yeah. So to me,
and no bass. It also has no bass, even though it
Right,
has all those
right,
drivers.
and it actually doesn't have an accurate mid-range. So tell me exactly what it was. So tell me what it was exactly you liked about it. So no, I know what you liked about it. The scale.
Oh, the sense of, yeah,
The
the
scale.
sense of space,
The
yeah.
scale, right? Because one of the amazing things about audio reproduction is time, space, scale, tonality, timbre, and they all are parts of an overall musical experience. And at different points, you can find yourself attracted to them individually. So, for example, personally, I was always extraordinarily attracted to what I think of as dynamic realism. So, did did the did my playback system uh, was it dynamically real sounding? Not as was it as loud as a listening venue or a studio or anything. No, no. It was, did it distinguish dynamics subtly, from microdynamics and macrodynamics? Did it feel alive? Was it vivid? Did it have a presence? And those things meant an enormous amount to me. And for other people, scale means an enormous amount. Everything changed in audio with Harry Pearson.
Yeah.
You guys may not remember this at all, but there was a time when there were stereo speakers, and the mark of a good stereo speaker system was you heard the left speaker and the right speaker completely separate from one another. They were not integrated. And people who grew up, right, this was like the first move from mono to stereo. So mono was the same thing was coming out of both speakers if you had two speakers. And the first move to real stereo was genuine stereo separation. And everything afterward became a pathway from stereo separation to stereo integration.
And that gave into the technology of cartridges. That made the best cartridges were developed during that time because they aimed so high that great cartridges from New York, actually, Empire, Shure, all those companies.
Yes, exactly. So in any case, I understand what you're saying, Sean, about both speakers, and I absolutely agree with. Sometimes it's good to have fun, not just for girls. I know that girls just want to have fun, but the rest of us want to have fun as well. But those never felt like fun to me. They always felt like, I would never name in public because Pedro would be associated with this forever if I did. There are very popular speakers now that cost anywhere from $50,000 to $130,000, and they're remarkably consistent for their presentation. And their presentation from top to bottom is entirely consistent and entirely of a piece. The problem is, it never actually sounds like music sounds.
Hello.
Steve.
Yeah.
How are you? Senor Steve.
How you doing?
Good to see you, man.
Thanks
for being here. Do you like what you hear?
I love this music. It's my favorite. I grew up with it. I listened to it to prepare to speak to you.
Oh, really? You're doing research.
So I sound conscious.
Informed, yeah.
But
how about for the Bose part? Do you have? Did you do research on the Bose?
Well, I own Bose speakers a long time ago.
I know you had the 501s. I heard them when I was.
Yeah.
They seem like such a great, cool thing. Like wow, when I was a kid
too. Thing. In the context of the time, it made sense.
When you look at the magazine, the pictures and the ad, the pictures look really cool, right?
Yeah, and they always called it. The address for Bose was the mountain. It was
Framingham.
Like street or something. It was just the mountain.
The mountain Framingham.
Yeah, the mountain, right? Yeah.
Wow.
Big mountain.
So
I did an obituary for Elmar Bose when he died.
Oh.
For CNET, and I wasn't going to do it. My boss told me to do it, so I wrote it.
and he ran it. And then Bose complained that it wasn't respectful enough. So, because I said, nice things, and then I said, but Bose speakers have never really been accepted by the audiophile crowd, and that's what pissed off Bose. And they said, they actually asked CNET to take down this obituary, and CNET refused. So they were really pissed.
They are a huge giant that eats other companies. Now, are they owned by the Chinese now? Who is Bose now?
I don't. That's a good question. Well, while he was alive, I don't think it was owned by a Chinese company.
Yeah, of course not.
But maybe, who knows? But I can say they're kind of a mean-spirited company. I'll say that.
A friend of mine told me that they put microacoustics out of business. You remember they used to make a speaker that looked like a Bose.
Yeah,
Similar.
they threatened to sue Cambridge Soundworks when Cambridge Soundworks came out with a radio that was a direct competitor to the Bose Wave radio, and it was like, we could make a radio to compete against your radio. And they just, they have all these expensive lawyers, and they started lawsuits saying it was infringing and stuff like that. But at that point, Cambridge was owned by a giant Korean company called Creative something. So they had big shot lawyers too. So they basically did it anyway.
Thank you, Francisco, for the sticker.
So, the thing that I don't understand about reggaeton or a lot of popular music, and I'm not saying this to be snarky or anything, is it doesn't seem to have any instruments on it. It's vocals, but then everything else is some kind of keyboard synth thing or just samples or something. And that makes it hard for me to get. There's a lot of reasons why I wouldn't get it, but that would be the first one. And of course, all those auto-tune vocals. Auto-tune vocals are
they're the worst.
I can't bring it. And it's in effect, and people who like it think it's cool and stuff. And I'm sure in my generation, when people in their 40s and 50s and 60s heard rock music, they said, "Oh, it's loud, it's distorted, it's all this, it's all that." So it is partially a generational thing.
There are people who like it.
Like
I didn't know.
Like what?
That they like auto-tune? Maybe they don't know what it is.
No, they don't know what it is, but they like that effect on the vocals. I think
they were born in the cradle. They listen to the auto-tune in the cradle, so they don't know any difference.
But did you ever see? You know who Rick Beato is? His channel.
Oh yes, it's great. Yeah.
He did that one, not about reggaeton, but he called it "Why Boomers Hate, Pop Music" or something.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
Probably.
Because he is a boomer, but he likes contemporary pop music. But he said the reason that boomers don't like pop music is because it doesn't have key changes, rhythm changes, and dynamic changes.
Yeah.
And that's it just starts, it just stays in this groove, and it just keeps going, and then it's over. It doesn't have any. I'm not a musician, but that part when he just made it that concise. This is why it's hard for older people to get popular music. I think that's the problem.
Well, I think you hit in the bullseye when you said about less instruments, because it's all dictated by the economy. It's nobody wants to pay for a full orchestra, to go on tour. And now one person can be the producer, the composer, and the engineer. So the way this music works is that somebody will make a rhythm, which is umpa tumpa 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 tum, and then they'll add a sample from all of the song. They just keep doing the same song, but they add a little sample to it, and that keeps the track where the other guy, the singer, the artist, would just start rapping over it. You know, it's like they ride it like a horse, and that's it. Yeah, they ride it like a wave, and
But
so that's
your daughter is how old?
she's 12, but she doesn't listen to reggaeton. Thank God.
Oh, she doesn't. Okay. But could she tell you why, kids her age like that reggaeton or just pop music in general? Could she articulate what it is that they like? Because obviously they like it.
I don't think she likes it because she was born in the United States and she goes to a school. It's like our town is like Leave It to Beaver. Everybody's white. It's very lily white. You know, there's like one other Latino girl in her school, you know. So she doesn't like reggaeton. But if you're in Puerto Rico or if you live in El Barrio, then you hear that. You hear that since you're a kid. And I think it puts you in touch with your African roots. It makes you want to dance. It's an African rhythm.
Okay.
And in Puerto Rico, I'm Puerto Rican too, so it's a Caribbean rhythm, and I can hear it and I feel the rhythm. It's great for dancing, but not for consuming. It's not something you want to consume. It's something you want to dance to.
Okay. All right.
I think that's why kids like it.
Okay.
And also there's a factor that the very strong language, sexual connotations, very explicit. I mean, they don't keep anything. It's just like hip hop, you know. So that just makes it exciting to them because they're young and they're learning about these words and they're learning about the world, and they joke about it with their friends, and they're kind of cool. You're driving your car with that music. It makes you cool because you're not afraid. You're not afraid of words.
Okay.
And that's why I'm doing this, because I'm not afraid of music. I want to prove that it's not going to kill you to listen to any kind of music.
Well, we'll talk at the end of your 24 hours.
Yes.
See how you feel.
But if I can do that, then maybe I can convince someone to come to the Met and listen to opera.
Okay.
I need to have that street cred, and I need to say, yeah, I listen to your music for 24 hours. So you schmuck, you have no excuse now. You should come listen to mine.
Well, we got a point.
Oh, maybe my next marathon will be on heavy metal, on goth metal.
Good luck.
Or Bach. I can make it on Bach. That would be nice. And yet people will complain. If I make a marathon on Bach, people are like, it's so boring. It's old. You know, they used to call him Old Bach. Johann Sebastian Bach, the father of music. In his time, they used to call him the old guy. Like his music was old-fashioned.
Oh man!
So censorship and criticism has always permeated the arts and music.
Right.
It's not a new thing.
So you're also saying there's always been like a generational thing, right? That the teenagers didn't like their parents' music, even then.
And what they don't realize is that the music we listen, that my daughter listens to, is something that we made for them, because we already used all the instrumentation. We tried everything already. We tried the double meaning sensual music. So there's nothing left. Now they have to use explicit language, and they have to use, cheap instruments, something that sounds different. Because Stravinsky already, and Shostakovich and Stockhausen and Kraftwerk, and Brian Eno and David Chesky, they tried everything. So these kids, they need to own something, but we drove it that way. And we old people, not you, but me, we don't care about their music, but we don't care about them either. It's like we just care about our times, our youth, our connection to our youth. That's the music we listened to when we fell in love. And I think that's what it is. It's nostalgia. We must be able to listen to music without being emotional.
Well, I want to say something funny about this aspect of it, right? So when I was 50, 20 years ago, right, and I saw teenagers, or even 40, and I saw teenagers who were into Led Zeppelin and the Doors and the Who and stuff, I was kind of put off by that. You know, it's like, wait, that's my generation's music. I'm 40, you're 18. Go find your own music. It just seemed odd to me that they were into their parents' generation music. It's like that's just seems kind of out of kilter to me. You know?
Yeah, because in Western music we've already used up all the scales, all the perfect temperament, so it goes in cycles, right?
Yeah.
We have to go back. We will have to invent a new scale. Go like the Indian culture or the Asian culture where they have microtones instead of whole scales. Somebody's making comments here.
Oh my, okay.
Zero. Sean is here. He says, turn on your phone, and then Hagakure says, Steve still has a rotary phone.
It's analog, baby. Come on.
Analog.
It's an analog phone. It's got tubes in it.
Anybody remember going like this? Yeah, it's funny that.
That was a great feeling though, man. Because we were going to go back.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
I
When
remember
first phones came in, it was a drag. It took all the fun out of it. Yeah.
when I was at Juilliard, some kids had to call home. They found a way to cheat the public phones,
Right.
by hitting the clicker enough times
Right.
to make the call. I don't know. It was kind of
Right. It was a thing. Yeah. If you recorded that sound of the call going through, you right. Yeah. No, oh yeah, I forgot about that sound. You go beep, 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 beep. Yeah.
Yeah. I see some very interesting speakers behind you. One of them is facing the back, so I guess it's a secret yet.
No, it's not a secret. I just turn it backwards. That speaker, the back of that is the Graham Chartwell LS6.
Oh yes, I saw the review. Yeah, very impressive.
It's like a Harbeth, but more Harbeth than Harbeth.
Ah, so that means it has a more vocal, chocolatey texture quality.
There you go, chocolatey, just richer, makes everything juicy and fat and luscious. It's like a koetsu. It's like a koetsu speaker. It makes everything sound like a koetsu. And then this white speaker with the black cloth is a Canton. I think it's called 836. It's just numbers. I don't remember what the numbers are. I think it's 836.
Canton? They still exist?
Yeah.
Wow,
They still exist.
I remember them from
There you go.
from the 80s or 90s. They used to advertise heavily.
Well, they're the kind of company that their distribution in the U.S. kind of comes and goes and comes and goes. So.
Yeah. Are they owned by the Chinese?
It's not Chinese. No, it's definitely not Chinese. This is made in Germany, as far as I know. I think so.
So I have some friends that in Mexico who are YouTubers, and some of them have been recently. They've been accused of doing too much chi-fi stuff.
Okay.
And they say that it's beneath, to do chi-fi reviews. But then some of them said, Steve is doing chi-fi. Steve is doing. They were excited to see you doing chi-fi, and I say, oh, he's always done chi-fi.
Well, not always, but yeah.
You do everything.
I've done it. Yeah. Well, Denafreps, Denafreps is amazing. And
I guess that is chi-fi, but I mean like to the budget
you mean
level.
the budget Chinese stuff.
Yeah.
But this company, Risong, the A10, the EL34 amplifier.
Yeah.
What's interesting about that amp compared to other chi-fi stuff, right? It's sold on Amazon, so you're not getting it shipped. Well, it's still being shipped from China, but you're buying it through Amazon in the U.S. But the thing that's interesting, you go on Amazon, you look at that amplifier. The last time I looked, it had 150 user reviews, and like 90% of them were 4 or 5 stars. So that says a lot. I mean, that thing is really well made. It's cheap. It has a stainless steel chassis, point-to-point wiring, tube rectifier, and it sounds really good. It sounds really good, even with the stock tube. It's a really nice amplifier.
It's like that speaker I have, which you guys already reviewed, Sean and you, the CS5, the Sony.
Uh-huh.
And it's remarkable for the price.
Yeah. Well, that's not Chi-Fi though. I mean, it's made in China, but everything's made in China. So, but
That's what I'm going to say.
But you know the
Mostly-
funny story about that speaker? I
No.
reviewed it in like 2010. And this is a long time ago. I
Yeah,
reviewed it, and then people started talking about it, like Sean and this guy Cheap Audio Man. And I said, I gotta get that in for review. So I get it in, not remembering that I had already done it 10 years ago. And I get it in, and when I opened the box, I didn't think, oh my God, I've already done this. I just thought, this is familiar. I know somehow know this speaker, but I really didn't. It didn't cross my mind that I had already reviewed it. Is reviews. I do reviews, but
I don't think that's reggaeton. Let me check on it. Hold on. Yeah.
The carbon monoxide alarms keep going off, or whatever the smoke alarms.
Yeah, it was here. I had a candle, so I just turned it off and I opened the window.
Did it go off 2 times?
Yeah,
Okay, we're good now.
we're good. Sorry,
it's okay.
sorry, Steve. I think this is supposed to be reggaeton or is urban.
Well, I want my money back.
I have to start over. I have to start again.
Yeah, 24 hours starting now.
So reggaeton has gone through a change, and now they call it the man that I had before you. He's the producer, and he does all the Caribbean distribution of some of these companies, and he kept referring to it as urban music. So
I guess.
it's sort of, nobody wants to call it reggaeton now. Some people think that it's dead, and so because it has popified. It's the pop effect, pop eats everything.
That's true.
Pop takes the whole, even classical music, pops. Rock becomes pop. Salsa becomes pop.
When something's successful, it could really hurt, over the long term. Did you see that documentary about Blue Note that came out a couple of years ago, like last year, actually?
No.
Because it's a great part of it where somebody's talking about Blue Note, and they did in the, I guess, mid-'60s. I can't remember the artist, maybe Lou Donaldson. But anyway, like a soul jazz record, right? And it was the first record that Blue Note put out, LP that they put out, that sold more than 10,000 copies. And then, you know what happens? That was a bad thing. And not for the reason that you might think. They were at first excited that they finally made a record that sold more than 10,000 copies. But the problem was that all of their distributors said, stop making those other jazz records, make more like this one that sold 10,000 and we'll sell more of those.
Yes.
And they said, no, we're happy that record sold well, but we want to make all these different kinds of jazz records.
Yeah.
And distributors were saying to them, well, we don't want you to do that. Matter of fact, if you don't do as we say, we're going to start to, ease back on buying your stuff. So we're basically blackmailing you, saying either you make more soul jazz records, or we're going to sell. We may put you out of business. I mean, it was like, what? So they were too successful.
I was talking to a previous guest about that. How it seems like Spotify and some of these streaming companies are actually composing the music. They're the ones who are making the music because.
Really? I never did that. Wow.
It's the same principle. If this rock band hit a record and they went on Spotify and everybody clicked on it and everybody listened to it for more than 3 minutes, then those guys make a lot of money, but the companies make a lot of money. They get a Grammy. They'll get a Grammy, and then they'll just have to keep chasing their own tail forever. And the other people will also copy them. They'll jump on that. So then now the tendencies are determined by the algorithms in Spotify. Because, for example, now a lot of these songs, if you can call them songs, they have a hook line, that's much shorter. So they get you to listen sooner.
Right. Okay.
Otherwise, you'll click off and it doesn't count like a click.
Right.
So I guess it's like the YouTube for those YouTubers, because people think that the YouTubers make money. Some do.
I do.
Some make more.
I do. But remember Grace Jones, Slave to the Rhythm?
Yeah.
Well, now I'm the slave to the algorithm.
Yes.
But
Yes.
you know that thing that that movie, that documentary that came out a few months ago called The Social Dilemma? Is that,
Yes.
you know,
Oh my God.
where you
Yes.
are the product, right?
Yes.
You're the product, and I'm the product. And people who watch YouTube or look at Google or Facebook, the viewer is the product, right? Your information is being sold. You're being directed in all these ways, right? So it's a weird thing to be part of that thing where I put up a video and I'm seeing how it's doing. Maybe I could change the title. It's not doing so great. I'll change these thumbnails, blah, 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 because I'm a slave to getting those numbers. And the thing is, I know that I don't need to do this. It's
Yes.
like a drug that you want to see that number go up, 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 up. And when it's not, you're like, oh, maybe I should do this. I just want those numbers. It doesn't change anything. My life will not change if I had 10,000 views or 40,000 views. Nothing will change. Absolutely has zero. I mean, I'll make more money from it. But in terms of my life, it doesn't mean anything. And yet you get addicted to chasing those numbers.
But you've got like 150.
Hey, 178,000, please.
Look at that. That's amazing. You've got a very rapid growth. Very rapid growth. Last time I checked, it was like 150. Was that last year?
Up fast.
Last week. It was last week.
I want to hit 200,000 by the middle of July, late July. But again, but it doesn't change anything. It's just that number. It's just chasing this thing. It indicates something. I'm not sure what it does actually, but it does something.
So if you have almost 200,000, you say you want to look into the stats, but you don't read your comments, do you? I mean, I read my comments because I only get like 10 comments a day, but you must be getting hundreds of comments a day, so you're not going to read them all.
I do. Actually, I made a video. I haven't posted it yet about comments. The thing about comments is it's part of the algorithm, right? The algorithm is seeing how many thumbs up, how many likes, and comments do you have? How long are they watching your video? Do they watch another one of your videos? Do they watch through the commercials? All of those things are part of the algorithm. So if somebody clicks on your video and starts to watch it, but they're out in 30 seconds, the algorithm concludes that X amount of people don't like it. They clicked on it, but then when they watched it, they weren't into it. So the longer they watch, thumbs up, comments, all that stuff is part of the thing. So upward movement in numbers creates more upward movement. And when your numbers are going down, it creates more down movement.
Downforce.
Right. Remember, there was a line in a Woody Allen movie where you're like a shark. The shark has to keep moving forward, right? The shark can't just say, hey, I'm hanging out here. It's nice. No, he's got to keep going forward. So, but it's all part of that manipulation of the creator, the YouTube channel person, to manipulate them into doing this, right? So in essence, even though I'm paid for this, I am essentially like a slave. Remember when Prince put slave on his forehead for the record company thing? That you feel like you're a slave. And the fact that there's no one at Google or YouTube to talk to. I get checks. I get money every month from Google, but I don't know a single person at Google. There's no human connection. Yeah. I'm just a little tiny thing that is part of the whole Google gigantic thing, right? They don't know me. I'm not a person to them. I'm just this thing that creates content that makes them money and by extension, me money.
Oh, look who's here. Somebody showed up.
You know what? You suck with picking up the phone, Steve, so I decided to join you here.
Oh, okay. Well, now you know why I wasn't picking up.
I know.
Cool.
I was trying to interrupt you.
No. Interrupt. Oh, the reason I was calling you, Sean. Mm-hmm. Should I tell you in public? Yeah.
Yes.
I'll tell you a little bit in public. I'm not going to tell you
Okay.
the whole story. I'm just going to tell you a little bit of the story. So I have, I did get, thanks to you, I got the KLH5s.
Okay.
And the speaker put me through changes because it made me work to get
Really?
them to sound good. I didn't just like plop them down and say, oh, they're really good or anything.
Yeah.
When I first put them down, I thought, uh-oh,
Oh no.
this is not good.
He's got to
What
go
did
back.
John do to me? Why do I have these speakers here kind of thing? I got it way, 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 way better.
Yeah.
And I'm working on it and I'm processing. But what I learned is,
Mhm.
because even at my advanced stage, I have to learn stuff, right? It's been so long since I really, well, not that long, but long enough I forgot, auditioned or reviewed a sealed box speaker.
Yeah.
And sealed box speakers don't sound like ported speakers in a good way and also not in a good way.
Yeah.
So I had to recalibrate my mindset to write a review, actually, to make a video. So that's what I'm doing.
Nice. I had pretty decent luck right away with them. I didn't have to work too hard, but I guess there's a few things about them that I guess it depends on your taste, right? Something we'll have to save for
As a review, of course.
for the review. Yeah. I'm jealous of your what are those Grahams back there?
Yeah.
We got Grahams. We have quads.
I got Cantons here.
Yeah. Jeez.
Oh, well, come on, Sean. You get all the great stuff too. Like you had the Luxman stuff. I was drooling.
Oh, the Lux.
And the AccuFace and the Luxman. And
It's in the other room.
Did you buy it? Did you end up buying it? Did you buy
Oh
it?
no, it's just here.
Yeah, okay. You don't need to buy it because otherwise you'd be like a hoarder, right?
By Schmai.
I know.
But when I did the Luxman DX10, the SACD player, that thing was freaking amazing. It was so good. I mean, you think after a while, oh, it's just the name Luxman, it's made in Japan. That's nice, but it's pretty and everything. No, when you listen to this thing, it's freaking good. It was way better than the Denafreps, by the way. It's also $16,000, but it was serious high-end audio.
I bought the i5 Diablo over the Denafrips. I like the Denafrips, but I don't know if you had a chance to listen to this thing. The i5 Diablo, it's incredible.
How much is it?
It's like $900. I mean, it's one of those little portable battery amps.
You mean it's that little thing that's like that?
Yeah.
And it's $900?
It's hooked up to my stereo right now.
Okay.
It's the red one, right?
Yeah, the red one.
But if you review it first, then I look like an idiot if I follow you.
No, but I reviewed it in Spanish. Nobody.
No one knows. Right?
I have news for you. Nobody watches my channel. Nobody watches this channel. It's okay. You're safe.
You know what's funny about that? Have you guys experienced the Black Label before from iFi?
No.
Because I believe that's the same. I think what I heard, and I could be wrong, but that red thing is basically a reconstituted, Black Label for a hell of a lot more money.
Well, but it bypasses. They don't give you the morphing. It doesn't have the bass control and all the little morphing.
Yeah.
It's straight through, and it has better DACs. And the op amps are FET, FET.
Oh, are they FET now?
Yeah.
Okay, no, sweet.
I mean, I bought it as a DAC, but it's also an amp. It also sounds great as an amp. But
is it because refamiliarize myself with it? Is it a headphone amp?
Let me show it to you. I'm not selling it. They're not paying me for this. What happened? You dropped out.
Oh. Sean's gone?
By the way, this thing, when you hook it up as a DAC, which only has USB, it bypasses the volume. There's no volume.
Huh.
It's just a DAC, and it's balanced only. The only connections you have are balanced.
Huh.
Pentacon balance, and it comes with the adapter that goes to XLR. That's the only connection you have. It's balanced. And here is also balanced for the headphones. It has MQA and all that stuff. I'm telling you, I put this thing on my stereo, and it was so alive. Wait, Sean, I keep losing Sean. Sean, I keep losing you. Are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Anyways, it's as a tag is great because it's balanced, balance in, balance out. It's got that silly female or male or whatever USB. Yeah, it's weird. It's like a recessed
Is it
thing.
male USB?
Yeah, it's bizarre. You have to have a special cable for it. They say that it's better for like the lighting, for the Apple Lightning, whatever. I'm not an Apple user. But anyway, it's, and also because it's a battery operated thing, it doesn't need a special power supply. It doesn't have to have a fancy power supply, you know. And I have to pay for it. I had to buy it. They didn't give it to me.
Clearly, you're not Jewish.
Yeah. What?
Clearly, you're not Jewish.
Anyways, I can let you boys get back to it. I just wanted to interrupt the stream for a
I'm
second.
going to call you after this.
Yeah. So do your thing, boys. Thanks for having me on again, Pedro.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, John. My dream has come true, but you know what? I was going to have another special guest that was going to join you guys, but I don't know if he made it.
I don't know.
The link. Well, if he comes in, then you have to come in again, Sean.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Pedro, enjoy the reggaeton, man.
All right.
Steve, talk to you later, man.
Later.
Take care, man. Bye. All right. So where were
who's
we?
your special guest is coming?
It's a special surprise. It's
You
a
mean
friend of
they're
yours.
even more important and famous than me?
No, I don't think he ever meant that.
Huh?
I don't think he wants to do that. Nobody can upstage you. Plus, nobody watches the channel. You know that.
You have 5,000 subscribers, right?
Almost, yeah. Actually, I should check because we're getting there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
almost
it's not
there.
bad.
Not bad, yeah. I like having the Patreons because then I can buy stuff that we can be independent.
So that's working for you, the Patreon thing.
Not really, but I mean, I have great Patreons, but I need more. I mean, just to buy stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's good. It's good.
Do you realize that I have Patreon and I don't do anything for my patrons except the most expensive tier, the top tier. I talk to them for 15 minutes every month.
Well, I'm your patron, but I'm not your top tier patron. So I know you
but
do.
You get to talk to me for free.
Well, you don't do shit for me as a patron,
I know,
but
that's
yes,
my point. It's people
as a friend.
think that you need to do stuff for them. And the thing is, it's nice that you do, but that's not what makes people want to do it. They want to support your efforts to make videos.
No.
You know what it is like when you subscribe to public TV and they send you a mug or a T-shirt or a tote bag or something. It's like, hey, the money that I give you, just use it for public television. It's like I'm giving you a president and then you have to give me money back. It's just weird. It's just make videos. That's your job.
I do.
Your
No,
avocation or whatever.
I do stuff for my patrons. I do.
Oh, that's good. It's sweet. I'm glad you do. I'm just saying it seems to be a thing that you think you need to have them, and I'm pointing out that you don't.
Yeah. It's funny because...
Uh-oh. Man, that is bad stuff.
Sorry.
I bet you unplugged it. Hurt my ear.
I put the mic on.
You take the magnet out of battery out of it. So everybody out there, how you doing? This is not the Audiophiliac Daily Show. This is the Pedro Show. I think it's amazing that Pedro it is an artist. He works in the highest, most exalted level of art, opera. And I'm down here, in the gutter making videos for YouTube. And now he is too. I mean, talk about dynamic range. To go from opera to making videos, that, I don't know. That's just amazing to me that one person could do that. To be at both ends of the spectrum is what I'm saying. So, I don't know. I aspire to be better, though. I'm gonna figure out how. When I grow up, I'm gonna do something so much better than this. I hope so.
I think we're safe now. We'll see.
You said that last time.
It's because I'm talking too much hot air and it's going into the detector. Where were we?
So we're. I was just telling the audience, whoever's watching, that it's amazing that you are a true artist and you work at the highest level of art, and you have a YouTube channel, which is like the gutter pretty much. It's at the very, very, very bottom of the showbiz spectrum. And you do both, or eventually you'll do both. Are you going to continue to do this when the opera comes back?
Yeah, probably. Hi, honey. I'm getting admonished now. Hi. I know it went off. I'm sorry. I opened the windows.
That's what happened?
No, I mean, I had a candle on and I guess it's, but I've opened the windows now.
But why did it go off again?
I don't know why it went off again. Me and my 57 and my guest are wondering the same. You guys, I'm in trouble with my wife. That can happen during a marathon. You
Yeah.
can get in trouble.
Isn't that
Very-
amazing? It's like real drama. Yeah. Everybody relates, so it's all good.
You know, Steve, this is becoming like a comedy now, right? It's like a comic relief. So we need another character of this comedy. How about
Okay.
we welcome
Who's
we
joining?
welcome Chief Audio Man, Randy.
Chief
the
Audio
Chief
Man.
Audio
What's
Yes.
up, everybody?
Oh my God.
Ah, look at that. Hey,
He is
Randy.
you're the Zach, what's his name of audio?
The,
got-
the what?
Zach Kakafakis or somebody.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Galifianakis.
Galifianakis. I'll eventually learn how to say that.
You know, you got some nice camera now. You're spending your
It's not
good
so
money.
cheap.
Yeah,
No.
you're
Here's the
investing.
thing. I
You're
always
investing.
had the camera. I just never knew how to use it. So I just had to connect it the correct way. So yeah.
Wow.
Steven, how are you?
I'm quite well. I'm sorry I couldn't talk to you the other day.
That's okay. I
I
know
was
that you're
rehearsing for this. I was, getting nervous about being on Pedro's thing, so I wanted to, just do some, exercises, breathing, that sort of stuff, just to get ready.
Hey,
I was-
Randy.
yeah.
Randy, welcome,
Yeah.
welcome to my channel. How's your Spanish?
Muy pequeño.
You live in Texas. Shouldn't you be able to speak Spanish? Come on.
El gato es mucho grande.
I understand that you don't live in Texas anymore. It's like you live in the North Pole now, right?
No, I'm still in Texas.
But what about the snow?
Well, we had it for like 3 seconds. Actually, we had it for about a week, and everybody just had to shut everything down.
Yeah, people were freaking out.
Yeah, for sure.
But the kids got to build snowmen? Snow people?
Kind of. We were trying to actually make sure that the the power and the water and everything. I'm telling you, Steve, the place shut down.
I heard. I saw. Yeah. What's
Yeah.
a gender neutral name of a snow person?
I don't know.
You're not
It's,
snowman anymore, right?
It's
It's they.
I don't know. It's
They.
It's hydrogen. It's one hydrogen and two oxygens that identify as a bipedal person.
Oh, they have 2 feet? They just sort of
But,
a blob on the bottom.
That's true. Omnipedal person.
Randall, somebody says here, muy pequeño y muy grande. It's sufficient, Randy. You're welcome.
Gracias.
See?
So
Oh.
speaking
So I
of,
want to tell you about my Spanish, by the way, Pedro.
okay, I think you told me the story.
Can I
Tell
tell
it
you
again.
the story?
Your teacher.
My teacher.
Was it an old
Am I
Mexican
boring?
Jewish
Can I
guy?
tell the story?
Go ahead.
I
Tell
took high school Spanish, and I wasn't very good at it. And I had this awful teacher, just like a really abusive guy who hated his job. He hated teaching. He hated kids. And I hated him. So I would go to class, and I wouldn't pay attention to him, which would piss him off. And I would like drawings and stuff. And he kept saying, and I would take tests, and I kept failing. And he said to me, I said to him, "So will you pass me?" Knowing that he wasn't going to pass me. And he said, "I'll tell you what, I'll make a deal with you. No matter how awful you are for all year, for 2 semesters of Spanish, if you can pass the New York City Regents test, I will pass you." And I said, "Really?" Okay, so I can goof off the entire year, and if I just figure out how to pass the test, you'll pass me. He said, yes, I will. So it was one of those things to prove him wrong. I actually studied really hard, and I got an incredibly high mark, like the second highest mark in the class on the Regents. And then he failed me. And I was
failed you?
so pissed, yeah.
Oh.
And I said, you wait, we had a deal. We
Yeah.
had this deal. If I passed you, and I said, not only did I pass, I got a really high mark. And he said, yeah, well, you screwed off all year. I said, but that you said that was okay as long as I passed. And why did I pass? Because I worked really hard to pass. So in the end, it all worked out. And I was so pissed that he failed me. I went to the principal, and I told the principal the story. And the principal, after he stopped laughing at me, said, but you did pass and you got this very high mark. And I said, yeah, well, you can look it up and see I did. And he got on the teacher's back, and he said, we got to pass Gutenberg. And he did.
Wow.
That's my story.
That's a good story.
Yeah, it's too
But I
bad.
forgot everything. So it didn't work out.
It's too bad nobody watches my channel.
I just
And now
shared
fewer
it.
people are watching. It's just me and Randy watching.
The truth hurts.
How many people are on here?
55. For me, that's good.
Up. Used to be
Yeah, for me, that's
49.
Double nickels.
Yeah, sometimes I start talking about classical music, and the numbers very fast. It decrease. They go down like this. Woo! And then I talk about it, $99 DAC, and it goes up like this.
Yeah.
Have you learned what that means?
Well, I've learned from the cheap audio, man. That's what I've learned. The fastest growing channel in the
So,
world.
Randy, when you have live streams, how many people watch? I don't want to make Pedro
500.
but 500.
No, like concurrently, like around 150 or so. I don't know, maybe 200 sometimes.
Thank you. I feel better now. Not really.
You should. You look great. I like the shirt. Who is that?
This is El Yuca.
Oh
El
yeah.
Yuca. Oh, Randy, this is something you don't know about. We gotta get you in.
Is it a chupacabra?
Almost. We made a series in my channel. We made a narco series around the hi-fi world, and we made fun of all the audiophiles. And Steve was my boss. He was the mafia boss. He was the guy.
Yeah,
That
makes sense.
He was a cable guy. He sold cable for millions of dollars to poor audiophile, unsuspecting audiophile. And I made him look like the pimpy taxi driver. So I'll send you the playlist. I did. It was my daughter. My daughter is 12, and she did all this cool editing and stuff. And so we made a mini series, and we involved a bunch of YouTubers in the Spanish world. So in the next season, which Netflix is gonna pick up, you're gonna be
right. Oh, good. Well, fantastic.
Are you gonna be the guy with the mask, with the wrestler's mask? Or?
Yeah. You can call me the North Texas Tarantula. Yeah. Well, they kind of cross the road every now and again in South Texas, and they'll get you.
Okay, that sounds good.
I was trying to get my Spanish in check because I didn't know you were going to be doing this in English. I thought it was going to be all Spanish.
No,
It's mostly
it's
because of Steve. Yeah,
I could leave and then you can talk in Spanish.
I was gonna say, ¿Dónde la biblioteca?
¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
Yeah. Where's the library? Or el baño es azul.
El baño es azul. Okay, it's a blue bathroom, like for boys,
That's
right?
the blue bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah, for boys. Okay. Cheers. I'm enjoying. How long do you think I can drink for? I got quite a few hours to go.
I don't think you have much left in the glass to drink. You might need to get another bottle.
So how are you going to do this, Pedro? How are you going to stay awake for 24 hours?
I'm gonna. Well, you know what I'm doing? I'll show you this. I need to mount a couple of cartridges on a head shelf.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do it. I got all the equipment here, and I'm gonna mount the cartridge. And people are gonna get so excited about it. I'm gonna draw huge crowds.
Oh yeah.
And so I'll show you here. Let's see. Is it gonna work? Yeah. See.
Oh, look at that.
I have my Elgato. it doesn't work, but
The
it's
cat.
because I'm using it. Yeah.
Oh, look at you. There you go.
So then I'll do my cartridge, like a head shell.
Yeah.
And then I'll
Would
get
you
a
just
cartridge.
why don't you just get like a fingernail clippers and like kind of clean out underneath your fingernails for about 20 minutes?
Well,
Look
I
at
already-
those manicured hands. Look at those things.
I
Those are
already did that.
beautiful.
I'm not a working man. I'm a musician.
You're not a
Don't work.
you're not a barbarian. We have manicures here.
That's right. So I got that. I got this tool. I'll show you. It's really good for mounting cartridges. It grabs stuff. Let me put it here so you can see. Can you tell? See?
Oh yeah.
Grabs.
Looks like
It's a grabber.
insect antennae.
Yes, it's an
Looks
instant
like a
grabber.
cockroach.
Yes. Anyway, so that's and
Did
then
you just
another-
knock over your wine glass?
Almost. Oh my God! Did I come close? That would have been a tragedy. You don't miss it. You don't miss. Tell me, Randy. Tell me what you do in real life. I mean, who are you in real life?
For my job?
Yeah.
I-
Do you have a job? I don't have.
Yeah, I'm in business development for a company that sells to the oil and gas industry. So instrumentation,
So
automation.
you're rich.
A job. Yeah. So you're
No.
rich. I was gonna say, you're rich.
Have you
Yeah,
all
well,
seen the price of oil
Yeah.
after
Oh.
the COVID, the global pandemic?
So
Okay,
people
look
don't
at this
use
guy.
oil anymore? Oh well, they're not driving as
You-
much. That's
Well, they're not. No,
Guys-
it's coming back though.
You know my friend Michael on Poetry and Plastic. He's got a channel. Oh my God, he's an oboe player like me. He's a musician, and he plays in the Phoenix Symphony. And he has a great channel about collecting records. And he's a specialist on all the punk, but classical too. He has guides on how to collect classical music on record and all that stuff. So be sure to check him out. He's great. And he just became a staff writer for Michael Kramer's webpage. He's that good.
Wow,
He's that good. Yeah. Friend of mine here.
Pedro, what do you do in real life?
I just do whatever my wife says.
Good. That's a good tip.
Yeah. You came close to witnessing my death.
Well, I'm glad that we didn't have to see it happen live on the internet tonight.
it
Well,
would have been great for your channel's numbers though.
Nobody would see
they
it.
would have skyrocketed, and then Steve and I would be in a deposition tomorrow.
Right.
No, nobody would have seen it. That's the tragic part.
Where are you out of, Pedro?
I am in West Nyack, New York.
Okay.
In your new house, right?
Yes, we moved from the Andy Griffith Show to the Leave It to Beaver.
Very
Yeah.
good.
It's across the river from Irvington, which is one of the river towns in New York. I've tried to get Steve and David Chesky to my house, but those guys, once you live in New York, they don't want to leave. It's
Yeah.
like being
Why
It's
would
like- it's going to a foreign country. They just don't want to go.
we? I got to get my shots, and I don't mean COVID shots. I need shots. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a good time in New York.
You
Yeah.
did?
Good time.
When were you
Oh
here?
yeah.
When?
When were you here?
Oh my goodness, that was 2004, I think.
Oh, that's a good time. That's good.
No, listen, it was a great
That was a long
story.
time ago.
It was a great story. So I was in the Navy. So I'm gonna do a story. I was in the Navy, and I'm stationed at Pensacola, and I'm down at Pensacola Beach with my buddies. We're drinking, and I have a shirt on, and it's a T-shirt, and it's a picture of like a '67 Mustang, and it said, "My other ride is your mother." And I wore that shirt out. No, I did, right? And so I'm at this bar in Pensacola Beach, and this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, are you single?" And I said, "Whoa, we can just go ahead and stop." He's like, "No. There's a girl over there who wanted me to come and talk to you because she said if anybody can wear that T-shirt out in public, I want to meet that guy." Well, it turned out she was there on business from Albany, and so I met her in New York City. We had a
And that's how you
fun-
met your wife?
What's
No.
her name? What's her name?
Yeah. Hopefully my wife's not watching. No, that was in 2004, so that predates the marriage. But
So that
Her name
worked
was-
out. Wait, that meeting went okay?
Oh, it was a blast. Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
that
yeah.
sounds like a setup to get you like rolled or mugged or something.
No, well, we
Thinking like a New Yorker. You know?
Or
No,
sued.
we-
Somebody's gonna
I would-
sue you for being a misogynist.
well, that was that would be pretty detailed plan to get some poor sailor up to New York when she already had me down in Pensacola to roll me. But no, it was great. It was fun. We went to the Central Park. We did all the cool stuff in New York. Went to Albany. It was really fun.
Oh, great. Not in the wintertime, right?
No, it was in the summertime and it was
Good,
hot.
Good move. Okay. You don't want to go to Albany in the winter.
No, you don't want to go to Albany in the summer either.
Ever,
When-
right? Buffalo, Albany. Yeah. It's pretty bleak upstate New York.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
So,
Hey.
go ahead.
I was just going to ask Steve about the B&W 607s.
Yes.
I really want to. You love them? You love
I
them,
love
obviously.
them. I do.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to get a pair. I want to try them out.
Yeah, I want
Do you want me
hear
to
them
try
too.
to hook you up with the?
Yeah.
bubbles?
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd
I
be
want
cool.
you. I want you to hook me up, Steve. Come on. Hook me up with the hombre, with
He
the bad
asked
hombre.
first.
No, you offer him.
So
You
Pedro,
didn't ask. You offer him first.
what's like the channel? Like, do you do all different price ranges or just like ultra high end? Or do you review like fine wines and single malt scotches, or what do you review?
Pretty much everything I can. Yeah.
Yeah.
I talk about music sometimes. Like I do stuff on classical music and then nobody watches. So then I'll do like a cheap tag for $90 and everybody watches.
I feel like we've had this conversation before.
Yes. Yeah, well,
So,
no,
but-
I aim for the mid-range stuff, anything with the $500, $1,000
Okay.
range, because everybody thinks that $500 is the magic number or like the most they're gonna spend on something.
But Randy's under $500. So
Yeah. So
aren't you going to
That's
run
like
out
this-
of stuff though?
you'd be surprised how much stuff is out there, Steve.
Because, for example, the 607 is not under $500.
But it's close. It's
$699. So
it's in the ballpark though. I mean,
Oh.
so like that's kind of the guiding force. But just like some people do a lot of expensive stuff and occasionally the affordable stuff, I want to do mostly affordable and occasionally we'll step out of the comfort zone a little bit.
Well,
For the
it's gonna have to change the name to the mostly cheap.
Yeah.
Man.
the
occasionally
somewhat
cheap.
cheap, occasionally audio man.
Yeah.
It rolls right off the tongue too, so it's going to be a
Yeah.
really good channel.
Long titles are good.
Do you remember when I spoke to you? See, because Randy, I introduced you to Steve, and I said it's as if you were watching Bill Murray review audio equipment.
I do remember that. I remember that. Yeah, yeah.
Do you remember that, Steve? Are you gonna give me that credit or not?
No, I don't remember this.
Oh, come on! I wrote it on the chat. Oh, I spoke. I told you on our Friday lunch. thing.
Okay. I never pay attention to what you're saying.
Do you invite Randy? Have you invited Randy to the Friday lunches?
No.
Because he's
No,
cheap.
see, now you blew it, and he was like, "That's the one thing Steve wanted to make sure is I had no idea about Friday lunches, and now you ruined it."
You ruined it.
Well,
But
it's
here's the
for,
thing, Randy. Soon the Friday lunches, which are Zoom lunches, will go back to being face-to-face lunches because some of us have had our double vaccination thing. So we're gonna
Yeah.
actually-
and I was never
We
able
can't
to
do
go.
the Zoom lunches.
I was
Yeah.
never able to go because I always had a rehearsal or a show.
You went once,
once,
at
yes.
least
but-
once, maybe twice.
Yeah,
yeah.
Pedro, you're gonna get like a text on your phone. It's like, "Hey, I'm at LaGuardia. Come pick me up for the Friday lunch."
Well, that's what I have to do with the guy who fixes my quads. Once in a while, I'll blow a panel on those black ones, and then
Yeah.
I have to pick him up at the airport, and he'll come to my house.
I thought you were talking about your vastus medialis or your iliac soria right there,
My qu-
the
my
quads.
quads,
Yeah,
yes.
vastus medialis.
Okay. That sounds kind of dirty. Like get a guy at the airport
Yeah.
to pick up for my quads.
No, that's from college anatomy. I loved it so much I took it 2 semesters in a row. Because the first semester I failed, just like Steve did, but I hadn't negotiated anything with my professor about passing a final exam and then getting to pass the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
So what are these
Proving you're
headphones?
not Jewish.
What headphones are you wearing? Steve is cool. He doesn't wear headphones, even though he has a headphone.
These are Audio Technica M50. The
X's.
yeah. The ones that Zeos hates. They're fine. I think they're fine.
Is Zeos going to appear today or tonight?
Oh, I wish. No.
Oh,
I'm in trouble. I am in big trouble.
what's wrong with you? Your wife's going to kill you.
What's wrong with you? Oh, he's going to knock it off.
How to take the battery out?
He's going to knock it off the ceiling with a broom handle.
Why don't you drop it out the window? Make it for David Letterman. Remember, he used to drop things off.
Oh, God, he used to shove TVs and stuff out. That was the best.
TVs, all kinds of cool stuff.
Oh, that was so. There was a bit. I don't know if you like the Beastie Boys, but there was a bit when Letterman had the Beastie Boys on, and they literally walked out of the subway, and they're rapping and they walked like blocks, and the cameras are following them. There's people everywhere in New York, and they're just doing their thing. And then they come in the back of the CBS studio, wherever Letterman moved to when he was in CBS, and he walked in, and the crowd just lost it. It was the coolest thing I think I've ever seen. Pedro, I was talking about David Letterman had the Beastie Boys on, and the whole 3/4 of the song was them coming out of the subway, walking to the studio. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
you should YouTube it.
Cool. Yeah, Letterman used to be good 127 years ago. It was great. He had a daytime show. That he was on daytime was 9 o'clock in the morning. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was on NBC. It followed the Today Show, and he was so good then. I mean, he got worse and lamer as he got older, but his first show was incredible. And one of the amazing things happened is he had a guest on that was doing some kind of magic with fire thing, and he set the curtain on the set on fire by accident. I really believe it was an accident, right? And all these stagehands are coming in, throwing water on it and stuff. It was so funny.
Did you see my last Sennheiser headphone review?
No, did you throw water on it?
No, but I did start something on fire. Yeah.
Now,
the lighter.
By the way, there was this guy before there was Johnny Carson. The original host of the Tonight Show was a guy named Steve Allen.
Yeah.
And he had a couple of talk shows, right? And one of his talk shows was he would do zany things, kind of like Letterman did. Letterman was kind of riffing off of Steve Allen. And in one Steve Allen show, he came out on stage with a suit with marshmallows all over the suit. And he explained that the suit was asbestos and that he had a guy come out with a blowtorch and then roast the marshmallows. He'd go like this and roast them and stuff. It was so, and they would just be plucking them off of his asbestos shirt. It was really pretty. I mean, he just did outrageous things like that all the time. He did one where he had a bathtub on stage, and they had filled the bathtub with breakfast cereal. So he was in this thing with all this jalopy, with milk and cereal, and he was bathing in it.
That's awesome. Yeah. I liked it when Letterman would dress in his Velcro suit and jump against the wall.
Oh, I never saw that.
Yeah, and then they have to peel him off.
Oh, yeah.
I loved Letterman back when I was growing up because he was on at 11. So it was Johnny Carson, and then Letterman was on after him. And I always got a kick out of Letterman. Carson, I didn't really care that much for. And the ironic thing is he's from Nebraska, where I grew up. So he was like a legend in Nebraska. And I'm like, I like Dave Letterman better. I think he's funnier.
So I want to tell you a story about the David Letterman show. The one day I'm walking past the theater at 4 o'clock or something, and they had people out on the street saying, "Hey, you want tickets for Letterman?" And I was like, the other thing is, I already told you I'm not into Letterman, but my friend Michael Trey was a huge Letterman fan.
Who just wrote me? He just wrote me a text saying that he's enjoying the live cut. Michael Trey.
Oh, good. Well, he might remember this story. So anyway, I get this line to get a Letterman ticket for Mike Trey. And I'm in line. It wasn't a long line. It's like, maybe 20 people standing in line. So I'm in line. Finally, I get in, and there's like, a young woman seated at a table. And she said, "Are you going to be able to make the show tonight? Because we're giving the tickets, you have to show up and everything." And I said, "Well, actually, before she said that to me, she said, 'Are you really a fan of Letterman? Do you really love?'" It was like a qualifying test. Like, how much do you like David Letterman? Because you have to really, really, really like Letterman to get the ticket. And at some point, I told her that it wasn't for me. I said, "Actually, I'm not really into Letterman, but I have this friend, Michael, who really is. And I assure you that he will show up to do this thing." And she said, "Well, it doesn't really work that way. He has to be here." I said, "But he's going to be here. I guarantee he's going to be here." And it was like it was almost like a bit between me and this woman, me pleading with her to give me the freaking ticket. It's a free ticket. What's the big fucking deal? If I don't show up, he doesn't show up, who cares, But it was like a whole qualifying test to get the ticket.
I played a gig once.
Did you get it?
I played a gig with the orchestra for Johnny Mitchell at David Letterman.
Wow. With what's his name? With Paul, what's his name?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was just part of an orchestra that accompanied Johnny Mitchell. I wasn't playing with Paul. It's just
okay.
they'll bring a singer and there's a backup orchestra. But we have to wait a long time. And when you come in there, it's so cold. It was like 40 degrees. Uh-huh. Did you know this?
Yeah, I've heard that always. Yeah.
It's because they don't want to sweat. So it's freezing in there, and I could barely play. It's like, so it's crazy.
So did you get to hang with Joni Mitchell?
Are you kidding me? No.
Did you rehearse before the show?
There was a little run through, yeah. It was just one song. Yeah. That's nice. I didn't even know who she was.
Oh, yeah?
It wasn't reggaeton.
Your peak was,
if it's not reggaeton, it's salsa. It's no salsa reggaeton. So.
Yeah, it's not that popular.
Yeah. Randy, what do you think of reggaeton? Do you know what reggaeton is?
I don't know. What is that? Some type of noodle?
You mean like a Japanese kind of food?
No, like Italian.
Oh, reggaeton.
Like rigatoni.
I don't know. What is it?
Reggaetone al fungi.
Is that a Wi-Fi speaker?
No, this is a Bose speaker. Do you know
Did you buy that Bose speaker? Did you review it?
Is that what you're listening to? Is that what this thing is about? It looks like a lamp that you take camping.
No, it looks like a coffee thing that you take in.
Yeah, does it give off light?
No.
Just some music going that.
I don't know if you call this music.
If you call it music.
Actually, it sounds pretty good. I have no idea what the battery situation is, but it's been playing for 5 hours now.
Yeah.
So what if
did you have it all charged all the way up?
Before your 24 hours are up, can you play it up?
Well, I bought 2 of them as a redundancy. I have another one in the office.
Okay.
Here's the office.
You have redundant Bose speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also have more wine. And I'm going to make a margarita, and I'm going to show how to make a margarita.
What are you going to do when you have to go to the bathroom? You have a bucket?
I take the phone with me, and then I'll put it so you can see my legs sitting on the toilet.
Yeah. That's a strong move, Pedro.
Now we're talking clicks.
I need hits. Yeah. I need to go viral, otherwise this channel is done.
This channel will live forever.
Yeah, but Steve asked me, or maybe you asked me, what am I going to do when I get back to work? Because I play in the Metropolitan Opera, and when we work. I mean, it's like, shows and rehearsals, and I have to drive to the city twice a day sometimes. So I will do what I started doing, which is I will interview conductors and singers, and the purpose of this channel was always to recruit people to come to listen to live music, because I think audiophiles don't care about live music. They just want to listen to the same 5 records forever in the cave and be antisocial. And not all of them, but some of them. And so the idea is to say, hey man, you want to know what music sounds like? Just come hear some instruments play. And then you'll be able to go home and say, okay, this sounds like it.
It's literally Ron and I were talking about that very thing today. Because I'm excited because concerts are coming back. So I'm going to Primus. I'm going to go to Deftones. Hell, I'm going to see Sebastian Bach at the. No, I'm serious, Steve.
Oh, that's an
Sebastian Bach.
actual artist. Okay.
Yeah, not the original. This
Not
is the
the-
'80s hair band from Skid Row.
Oh, that's it. I thought you meant
Yeah.
Johann Sebastian Bach, like a concert. No.
No, I'm talking about the guy that sang 18 in Life in like 1986.
Okay. Well, you listen to Metallica, right?
Oh yeah.
I played with them once with an orchestra. You know, when
Did
they
you
have
really?
orchestra- you know, they have an orchestra. Sometimes play with them.
Yeah, S&M and S&M too. Hold on. See? Right there.
Now, what city? What is the nearest city that you live in?
Dallas Fort Worth.
Oh, you should go hear the Dallas Symphony and the Dallas Opera.
Yeah, Fort Worth got it nice. I'm going. I love it.
You
I
have a
love.
free ticket? Could you
I have
hook 'em up?
friends. Yeah, I got friends there in the orchestra. They're great orchestra.
Go backstage, hang, maybe shoot a live video there.
You know, I
Yeah.
played with the Dallas Symphony 2 years ago as a guest for a couple of weeks.
What?
Man, that's awesome.
They did the whole Valkyrie opera, and they invited me to go play it.
I
English
played the
song.
drums.
So you like to hang out with real musicians?
What was that question for?
Both of you.
You guys,
drummers.
I got a
not
trap set
musicians.
upstairs. I got it for my daughter for Christmas.
What do you call a drummer who's homeless?
I don't know what do you call.
no. What do you
No,
call
it-
a drummer without a girlfriend? You messed it up.
I messed
You
it up.
messed it up.
But-
Oh,
Yeah,
what do you call a drummer without a girlfriend? Homeless.
Michael Trey is here.
Oh my God!
Hello. We got to set up a rota to keep Pedro awake
The
all night.
Letterman
Well-
of high-end audio.
Well, you guys, I do have a guest that's been waiting for you, you know, and I will speak to you. But if you want to come back anytime, 5 a.m, I'm around.
Well, that's
So
what Steve gets up. So
I
that'll
gotta
work.
get up then, yeah. So I'll probably be back at 5 o'clock in the morning. Just
So-
to see.
I'll have you guys for 5 more minutes, and then I'll kick the shit out of you out of here. Okay?
Okay. Oh, there's a time limit. Oh, cool.
Oh, there's a timed guest coming.
For you, there's no time, Steve, because you've been here forever tonight.
So wait a minute. You just like put an email into my inbox and said get on here, and then now you're like, oh, by the way, we're done with you now. I have someone much more important to come on here.
Used and abused.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I want you to do a multi visit thing. You got the
Can we
link now.
pre-record our next part so we don't have to keep coming back?
Can I print off a picture of Steve Gutenberg and put it on a bottle of salsa and just kind of put it there? Steve Gutenberg salsa.
I really like your last video where you did the salsa thing. That was great. What was it? The
Oh,
guy,
Andrew Jones is salsa. Yeah.
Andrew Jones
Yeah.
salsa.
Nobody knows how to make salsa like like an English speaker maker from a German company. Andrew Jones salsa. It comes in mild and British. Those are the two flavors
Yeah.
it comes in.
That was fantastic. I think
So,
you have
wait. So, Randy, how many subscribers do you have? I want to make Pedro feel bad.
You're such a sweet guy, Steve.
Yeah.
I
He knows
let's see. I think 18,000 tonight.
18,000?
Yeah,
You
we'll hit. I
started
think we'll hit
in
18,000.
December?
Yeah, well, November.
That's amazing. It's really amazing.
And it's just because you're such a good-looking guy?
I think
No.
it's because I'm ruggedly handsome, and
Yeah.
people like to see people root for the guy that is not very smart.
And the
So I think
beer.
that's what's going on.
The
Yeah,
beer.
the salt and pepper. Yeah,
No, it's because you had sponsors. That's why. You had
that's
sponsors.
right. Yeah, it is the sponsors
You were in
because
Alcoholics Anonymous?
Yeah, you need both,
Mention
man.
that part.
You need both. I wish both Bushes
yeah,
sponsored
Steve,
it.
I may know Bill W.
Okay. Went over my head.
Now there's a guy that his channel's called like the Audioholics.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Audioholics. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he's
I don't-
good.
Yeah, he Yeah, that guy.
You know, I have
So
some people.
are you guys tight with Amir from Science Audio Review?
I don't think anybody here does measurements.
No.
Maybe Michael does. Michael, do you do measurements?
No. Well, maybe kind of. I measure how the tracking fork is. That's about it.
Well,
I do have a microphone. I've done a couple measurements.
Crosstalk, I measure that.
I made a video about disagreements and stuff, and talked a little bit about Amir. And I didn't say anything negative about him. I said he seems like a really sweet guy, and you know, but he's doing his thing and I'm doing my thing. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I heard
Maybe
Andrew.
should debate him.
You probably should.
Yeah.
I think you should just go do like a bare knuckle boxing, just a brawl. Like you and Amir, shirts off, you know, maybe tape the knuckles up and then just go at it for about 15 seconds and see who comes out.
Well, you need to put on the luchador, the
Maybe
mask.
1 second.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, Andrew Jones talked about it. Karl-Heinz Fink has talked about it. The guys at Hagel have talked about measurements, how they're important, but you can put a capacitor that measures the same thing and it sounds completely different. So, yeah, maybe 75% of it's science. The rest, 25% is art. And I'd rather have an artist designing the last 25% of my speaker than a computer.
Exactly.
Computer don't have ears.
Well put.
Yeah. Well, computers, they hear differently, you know? I think you're getting into the reggaeton. What do you think, Randy?
I'm feeling it.
Randy, would you listen to more reggaeton?
Yeah.
I'm a slave to the rhythm.
A slave to the rhythm.
Well, it's African. We're all Africans, you know?
I'm African. I had my DNA tested.
Nothing like seeing the Chief Audio Man dance to reggaeton. I mean, that's priceless.
Hold on, we got to start doing the show.
I like this one. What's this called?
I don't know.
Playlist.
We'll do the shoulder roll.
Let's see. This is Kylie, Tito el Bambino. Kylie.
All right. I'll try to
Kylie,
find...
isn't she Australian? Kylie Minogue?
No.
Yeah, she's Australian. She's a real good-looking girl down there in Australia singing the songs. Oh,
Maybe
you get the whiteboard
maybe
out.
You should get that T-shirt again.
Are you drawing a sine wave? Are you what's clipping? Can you explain balanced versus single-ended?
You need Paul McGowan for that.
I like the Paul McGowan factory tour, though. That was good.
I like when Paul McGowan talks about the Bose 901s.
It's 99% true.
I can't read anything. Did you write that in invisible ink?
It's pretty much, it's a cheap camera. Now this guy is a classic. This is the old school. Tego, his name is Tego Calderon. We come from the same school. We went to the same music school in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And this guy is old school. This guy is great.
Hey, Mike, is this like Dr. Demento?
No, but I could open my window and hear the same music. So.
I was going to say it's time for the smoke alarm to go off again. Jesus. What the hell is wrong
Why
with
don't
you?
you just take it down and unplug it?
Why don't you throw it out the window? Unplug it? Aren't they all battery?
Yeah, they're battery. Whatever. Some plug-in.
This is like the fifth or sixth time it's gone off, and his wife gets really pissed off, comes up and starts yelling at him. Well, makes for great TV.
It's all that hot air coming out of his mouth.
Exactly.
Maybe you should investigate whether or not something's actually on fire in your house.
Maybe the house is burning down the house like Talking Heads.
Yeah.
Could it be?
Oh my God, Steve! I got a story about that song.
The lights are on. Would that make it more CO2? No. Would the lights make more CO2? No.
Oh, it's a CO2 detector, not a smoke detector.
It's too loud, Miguel. It's taking over the show here.
Yeah. It's getting a
I
little
gotta go, but I
intense.
gotta hear Randy's story about burning down the house.
Oh
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, go ahead. That was my first year in college.
yeah. So I don't remember what year it was, but I think it was the early '90s. And we were at a party, and when I say we, I mean I don't remember who I was with, but I think they were my friends. And I had drank a bunch of white liquor, and I was laying on a couch, incapacitated, and then all of a sudden that song came on, like, and it just started like, and like for whatever reason, like the energy just swelled up into me, and I just got up and I started burning down the house and started walking around, and I was fine. It was like I was literally unable to move, and then burning down the house came on, and I was fine again. It sobered me right up.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
Yeah, I don't remember anything
You're really
about
good
that
at it's
other than
storytelling.
that. Yeah, it's good. It's a
They should
GS.
bring
It's a-
back VH1 storytellers who could be on tell that story.
yeah, it was pretty bad. I was drunk, and then I heard that song, and then I wasn't
Were
drunk
you
anymore.
wearing the T-shirt? What did the T-shirt say?
My T-shirt?
Yeah.
Oh, my other ride was your mother.
It's horrible.
Oh, it was so bad. It was such a bad T-shirt. I didn't care though. I just
Well, you
didn't
were a
care.
kid. It's okay.
Yeah, I was a naval aviator.
A naval.
Stri-
Wait, you're in the Navy and you're flying?
Well, I didn't make it all the way through flight school, but that was the intent.
You crashed the
Well,
plane?
No, they didn't let me get that far, Steve. I did fly though. I did fly.
Oh.
That's,
Each day she takes her 3 children to the
You flew. What did you fly in or on?
what is watching the news? Who's watching the news? Like you?
I don't know. It's not me. Is this so? When you first get there, they put you through what's called IFS or introductory flight screening,
Okay.
and they just basically make you fly to see if you can handle it.
Like a trainer thing.
Well, it was a Cessna 172.
Oh, it's a real
and then
plane. Okay.
yeah, so if you make it through, oh yeah, it's real. All right, go up there, guys. And then if you make it through that, then you go into the official training pipeline and stuff like that.
Wow.
So
So you failed that test.
no, I met out. I passed all my tests. I failed the physicals during it. Yeah.
You guys, I really have to stop. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
I am so grateful. I mean, when am I going to get a chance to get you guys together? Like maybe on the next marathon.
Well,
Maybe.
obviously we have the time. I mean,
got the time.
whoever else is coming on is it John Darko or Andrew Robinson? Who you got
Yeah.
coming in here?
Who's replacing?
No, these are my mafia guys from Mexico. My
Oh
chi-
boy. Okay.
my
All right. Well,
chi-fi,
I'm
chi-fi
out.
guys.
Bye.
I'm out.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Good night.